Colleagues, good morning, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us for this event. People will be just coming in since other meetings are ending up now. We have many people online, and so we could not stay too long before starting. For those interested, there will be French and Spanish interpretation. So you have the in front of you in case of need. We are here for this event on agri-food transformation for the Sustainable Development Goals, focusing on innovation and small and medium enterprises as game changers. I will tell you upfront, probably we're the only ones who brought here entrepreneurs. We have 6 entrepreneurs, and I have been attending many large meetings, and I have hardly seen entrepreneurs attending the meetings, which is simply not acceptable. We're just coming from the HLPF, and we were the only ones bringing entrepreneurs. We have been to COP27, we were the only ones bringing entrepreneurs, while everything we want to do relies on entrepreneurs, but we don't know how to work with them. So I hope the 3 entrepreneurs on the table will tell you a little bit more, and we have 3 other entrepreneurs in the room who could not put them all on the panel. So this is something on which we are really focusing a lot, the importance of small and medium enterprises to deliver on change, to deliver on SDGs, to deliver on circular economy, to deliver on sustainability, to deliver on climate targets. Without them, there will be no net zero. It's very clear, everybody knows about it, but we don't know how to work with them. So we absolutely need to have alternative approaches and innovative solutions, and the small and medium enterprises living in the ground, in the ecosystem with local people are really providing the local solution for the resilience that is needed to deliver on sustainability. Our event today is organized in the context of the FAO-SEED SDG-Agrifood Accelerator program, and we'd like to thank FAO for trusting us and having this collaboration together. And it is structured all around 11 small and medium enterprises that we selected together from our network of small and medium enterprises, to which we are providing additional support. We already work with them, and they will tell you a little bit more about what we are doing with them. So 3 are, I said, around the table, 3 others are here, but we have the 11, and when you look at the, if you look at the paper here about the program that is on the table, you will have the list of the 11 entrepreneurs that have been selected, and you can connect with each and every one of them. Let me start by giving you a brief overview. It's just 4 slides, so the only PowerPoint that we have, and then we get to the substance of our work. Okay, perfect. SEED has been launched at a time where nobody ever believed in that we can work with small and medium enterprises at Johannesburg 2002 as a Type 2 partnership. When it was launched by UNEP, UNDP, and ICN on an idea by Germany and USA, people said they're crazy, it will not last. 21 years, we're here, and we demonstrated that it makes good sense. It's really a good partnership for impact change, but for the SMEs and with the SMEs. It's extremely important to insist on with the SMEs. And we insist not only on the business aspect of entrepreneurship, we insist a lot on the social and environmental aspect, because the first thing you work with an enterprise and an industry, they will tell you business, benefit, and so on, which is fair. But we insist a lot on the social and environmental aspect if we want effectively to have long-term impact and resilience. The beauty of this program, and I insist on that, and we'll see it on the next slide, thanks to the small and medium enterprises, we have been learning what they need, and we have been adapting ourselves to what they will need. So year after year, we improved our toolbox, we improved our knowledge, we improved the type of support we'll provide them depending on the stage where they are. So what we have been doing so far, I would say also thanks to the small and medium enterprises who have been showing us the way on how to go further and how to assist them much better. It has been really learning by doing. But as much as you can work with SMEs, you need to scale it up. You need to have an impact. And working with hundreds, thousands enterprises will not make a major impact. You need to go much further. And that's what we really need to see how we can effectively, oh, sorry, it won't be bigger. This is the one that shows really how we have been working with the small and medium enterprises. We started with just the awards, having some knowledge and so on, working on the catalyse, getting innovative ideas, getting next step and so on. So slowly and slowly, you see the diagram from 2002 to 2022, the different elements that we have been adding to respond to the needs of the small and medium enterprises. And I believe really this is the strength and the way to go. I'm not just promoting it because I like it. I have been myself long time with UN. I'm a retiree from UNEP after how many years on leading sustainable consumption and production, but I strongly believe on the role of small and medium enterprise. So after 20 years, we really demonstrated that it makes good environmental, social, and economic sense to work with small and medium enterprises. It's important for the government to understand that, and it seems that they don't have it yet. The eco-inclusive enterprises are deeply rooted in the communities, and it's in their interest to sustain them, to make sure that they are well managed, because they don't have alternative. If they destroy where they are, they will collapse. While a big company can work in an area, it doesn't work here, they move to the other one. And that's why it's really important to focus and work with small and medium enterprises if we're talking about resilience and long term. Since then, SMEs is coming everywhere on the table. Many people are talking about it. Okay. Many people are talking about it, but they talk about the what, they hardly talk about the how, simply because they don't work directly with them. And we don't see policymakers discussing with small and medium enterprises. And this is something that we are really fighting for, to talk about the how to do it. And again, thanks to the small and medium enterprises, we know a little bit more how to do it. So we have been, all our work is in the first cycle here. We have been really looking with the eco-inclusive enterprises on how they can contribute to the green jobs, provide the services, technologies, build resilience, and so on. But we need to scale it up. We need to put them really in the context of green growth, circular economy, to become real actors. And not to have only 6 or 10 or 1,000, but we need thousands of them in order to be able to make a difference. And to respond to what the conference here is about in FAO, is this agri-food transformation to deliver on sustainability. So this program that we have together with FAO is really focusing on a certain element that are very clear for us. First, resilient agri-food system. And resilience is, first of all, bottom up, is locally rooted. And this is extremely important. The second is to secure that we have safe and nutritious agri-food systems. And the ones local on the ground can really know how to do it. And the inclusive agri-food system, because they need to work with local communities, with the women, with the youth, and so on. So we're doing this program by nurturing 8 startups in 8 developing countries, adapting our toolkit to the 11 business instruments and so on, and providing the tailored coaching. So every time we work with them, we see how to provide them exactly what they need. And that's why working with them is extremely important for us. With this, the introduction is over. And I hope it has been even longer than expected, so I'm not a good one in managing the time. Sorry for that. So now let us welcome the 2, I would say, institutions or countries that have been really backing up and supporting us for this event. Let me start with the government of Flanders, a very strong believer, I would say, in SEED also, and in small and medium enterprises, and providing us with big support. And then with Hadnalka Petric from FAO, who have been behind this project with us, and we hope that the collaboration will be just a starting point. So, Anne-Laure Léger, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to welcome you here at FAO. I'm Anne-Laure Léger, the representative of the government of Flanders, at FAO and WFP and to the Italian Republic. And very short, Flanders is the northern region of Belgium, and we have an own government and an own foreign policy. I'm honored to contribute to this event from our esteemed partner SEED, together with our neighbors from the Netherlands, UNEP, and of course our host FAO. And I'm also happy to see Lissenfield, WuchiWami, and the Farmers Fresh Zone entrepreneurs who are here with us today. They are strong examples of the enormous potential of SMEs to support the transition to more sustainable farming and achieving the SDGs. They strengthen our food systems and enhance food safety and security. We all came to Rome this week to discuss the transformation of the food systems, and we agree, I think, we need a shift, a transformation and action at all levels and by all actors. And now we are here specifically to discuss the vital role of these SMEs in the agri-food sector, locally and globally. And we believe they are agents of change. We want to support the innovative ideas of the SMEs in low and middle income countries, assist in their business development and generate facilitating environments so they can transform, grow and become these agents of change. They can also generate revenue, create jobs and support sustainable transformation. Ladies and gentlemen, Flanders is an SME region par excellence. Our region was built on the strength of these SMEs and continues to thrive on their innovative mindset and entrepreneurial drive and vigor. They have always been one step ahead of finding solutions to new challenges in our region. As a government, we want to stimulate and support this innovative process. We have a governmental agency specifically for entrepreneurship and innovation, which connects the world of business and research and development. One of the initiatives the agency supports is Flanders Food, an innovation platform of the Flemish agri-food industry, which started almost 20 years ago with 20 participating companies, and today they are more than 300, from which 70% are SMEs. They come from different sectors, not only in Flanders, also in Europe, and they all strive to improve the Flemish agri-food ecosystem through investment in research and innovation. Flanders Food is a point of contact for all actors within the Flemish ecosystem, facilitating the cooperation as well as managing project funds following a specific strategic research and innovation agenda. And the current agenda focuses on resilient and sustainable agri-food systems, personalized food and healthy diets, world-class food production, and new and shifting resources such as the alternative protein strategy. Food and food security are a main priority of Flanders, and we will continue to work on this topic. Next year in March, during the Belgian EU presidency, Flanders will host an open food conference. This international conference will be open to all stakeholders, policymakers, academia, private sector, civil society, SMEs, of course. And the goal will be to showcase best practices, stimulate exchanges, and have an open discussion on the future of our agri-food ecosystems and the agri-food transformations. You are, of course, all already invited and expected at this conference. For today, I wish you all fruitful discussions, exchanges, and new insights to strengthen the role of SMEs in agri-food transformation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and Lord, thank you for the government of Flanders to do note of the fact that it's a region of SMEs, important for us, and we are glad to have this cooperation, and we took due note of your meeting and the invitation. So you can have more than those entrepreneurs that could come and show the case there and effectively demonstrate and raise their voice. So hope you can join hand and count on us. FAO, Hasnalka Petric, that's the substance, the heart of your work, Agri-food systems, please.
Thank you very much, Arab, and good afternoon, esteemed representatives of members and other UN agencies, ladies and gentlemen. I also would like to welcome you on behalf of FAO. And let me start with saying that FAO is, of course, deeply engaged on all fronts in agri-food system transformation to make sure that these systems become more sustainable, resilient, inclusive, and efficient. So this is the third day of this UNFSS+2 stock-taking moment, and we are lucky because we can refer to what happened in the last 2 days. And I have to say, well, I can say that the role of SMEs and the role of innovation was mentioned many, many times during the past 2 days. And we know that SMEs represent 90% of the businesses worldwide and create more than 50% of the employment. And these numbers are similar if we look at the agri-food sector. 90% of the businesses in this agri-food sector are SMEs. They create half of the sector's economic value and provide more than half of the jobs. So FAO has long recognized the value of SMEs or MSMEs, micro, small and medium-sized enterprises, in poverty reduction, agriculture and rural development, and therefore their role in moving the SDGs forward. Now, for example, the FAO strategy, FAO has a strategy for private sector engagement, 2021-2025, and that clearly promotes the development of MSMEs as key drivers in realizing the socioeconomic potential of the agri-food, but also the rural non-farm sectors. In 2022, for example, 42% of all informal engagement with the private sector was with SMEs. I truly believe that the small businesses now more than ever have the potential to help us address the vulnerabilities of agri-food systems, climate change impacts, inequalities, biodiversity loss. And why? Because to bring the SMEs to life, the SDGs to life, we need to localize them. We need local solutions to the local problems. And the MSMEs are engines of economic growth. No, they are engines of growth creation, but they also have a crucial role in environmental protection, promoting social justice, and so they contribute to a variety of SDGs. But as Arab said before, and I think this is the key aspect, they are rooted and deeply rooted in their local economic and local economic cultural context and dependent on the natural ecosystem. So it is in their best interest to protect these and build trust, I would say, and alliances with the local communities. They are driven to find local solutions to these local problems, and they are better able and motivated to do so. So ultimately, their goal is not just to generate economic returns, but also to find these innovative solutions to the local problems. Because they rely on these local human and natural resources, they are interested in creating these decent employment conditions and protect the natural environment. Now, and I also think that in addition to bringing the sustainability issues forefront, these enterprises also contribute to raising consumer awareness about sustainable production and consumption, and somehow about the role of all of us in protecting the planet for the future generations. Now, but also we know that these enterprises, and we have heard this many times in the last 2 days, they offer like the financial support and other support in terms of capacity development. So this is the reason we, FAO partnered and the Office of Sustainable Development Goals with SEED. And I have to admit, FAO does a lot on supporting SMEs. So this is one of the great examples. We partnered and we launched the SDG-Agrifood Accelerator program last November to support innovative enterprises that really pioneering innovative solutions. They protect the environment, but they also work for their local communities. And so we help them with developing business instruments, for example, to enhance financial readiness, increasing innovation potential, scaling market reach. And we have 3 of them at the table, so they will talk for themselves, but I would like to mention 3 other examples to conclude. just to demonstrate the extraordinary innovation, I believe, that are behind their work. So there is a Mati group in Ghana. They empower rural women by facilitating their access to land, which we know is crucial. And then they are trained to produce indigenous fonio grain. And you may know that fonio has low water requirements and can resist adverse weather conditions. Another example is the gorilla conservation coffee. We have a representative here from Uganda. They pay a premium price to help coffee farmers living next door to gorillas around the national park. And so this livelihood activity keeps farmers from damaging, let's say, the forest through poaching or removing wood. And so they really help protect gorillas and their habitat. And the last example is Kalahari honey. They train and supply farmers with beehives, and they use these as active fences to prevent that elephants destroy the farm. So there, again, there is a mitigation of the potentially human-wildlife conflict, but also creating livelihood opportunities for these farmers. So with this, I would like to stop here, and thank you very much for attending the side event. Back to you.
And thank you very much for your support. Localizing the SDGs, localizing is key, absolutely connecting them with sustainable consumption production. And you started introducing our entrepreneurs, so I can just move to the panel discussion and give the floor. The interest of the panel that we have here are 3 entrepreneurs. I'm selected out of 6 or out of 11 that we have and many others. But the interest of it is also to see what we can hear from a government representative and from United Nations in relation to what the SMEs need and what they need in terms of scaling up. So these are the questions that will be going around. So let us start with the panel. Rasarin from Field, Thailand. You will just have a brief introduction of yourself. I will not want to lose time on that. So what does your enterprise, how does your enterprise support the agri-food transformation in the context of Thailand, and what else is needed to scale your innovation? 3 minutes, if you can.
Thank you for having me here, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of ListenField. At ListenField, our mission is that we want to develop practical precision technology and solution for farmers and stakeholders to improve. Closer. Is it better? Okay. Then we want to develop a practical technology and solution for help farmers and stakeholders to improve productivity, reduce resources use, and also to be friendly to the planet. Currently, we also working with farmers in Thailand, Vietnam, Japan, and also Colombia. We provide precision farming solution from soil to harvest. We utilize AI and satellite imagery information to help farmers to understand their soil condition, their soil health, their crop health, to improve their crop yield, to understand the impact of the climate change during the growing season. We provide AI model to analyze climate environment to stakeholders, such as buyers, to understand that how much the risk that they can face for the coming season. This is like the way that we create ecosystem to work and to help support along the way for the whole supply chain, to help understand, to help to improve the management practice to be more sustainable. And currently we are working with 25,000 farmers and 10 organizations to provide a practical solution. And last year, we could achieve 20% of productivity improvement, 15% fertilizer use reduction, and 25% work efficiency for food supply chain. We also provide data transparency that can help convert conventional farming to become more sustainable farming practice. And the crop that we are working with right now is rice, cassava, sugarcane, potato, and sweet corn. They are the major crops in Thailand and Southeast Asia that involve millions of farmers that have been And right now we have been working in this region for more than 6 years. And I want to highlight that why we want innovation into Thailand and into this region. 1/3 of our population is involved in agriculture sector. 40% of farmland is for farming, but only 8% of GDP come from agriculture. And the way to boost up the productivity is innovation. And we have been proved that our technology and solution could be applied and applicable for farmers and stakeholders to the region. But right now is a time to make it scalable and also validate that the solution can be able to scale. So we need a financial support in terms of invest into a company like us to be able to enter into a bigger market to create more impact. And our next goal is that right now we're working on a farm management solution. Next step is that we want to combine farm management solution into greenhouse gas emission, so that we want to help our farmers to be able to produce food with low greenhouse gas emission. This is our next goal, and we are looking to have more support to make us bring the solution into the next step. And as all of you know that in terms of working for this area, we also need a good support in terms of partnership to expand into the new countries, and private sector, not only private sector, but public sector, as all of us here, is also very important to bring this kind of innovation technology to the ground. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Nasarine. Good luck with all what you are doing. Very ambitious. And I hope events like that can provide you with the support. I'll come later on at the end of the conclusion. Let me move now to Harry WuchiWami. How does your enterprise support the agri-food transformation in the context of Zambia, and what else do you need to maximize your impact and contribution to SDGs?
Thank you so much, Arab, for having me here. Yes, I'm coming from a company called WuchiWami, based in Zambia, where we work with the smallholder farmers that have been using the unconventional and sustainable way of beekeeping to be able to produce honey. They cut down the myombo trees that have taken 40 years to grow to be able to make a beehive called bark hive. For us in 2018, we decided to be the agent of change, to bring the innovation to our community, so that even after many years, we'll still have the forest. So we've worked with 544 smallholder farmers. Our innovation is able to produce 30 kilograms of comb honey, aside from the 7 kilograms that the traditional beekeeping model produces, which is very good for our farmers, because then they'll have more revenue when they sell the honey. We've also managed to see that through this model, these farmers were earning less than $4 per month, but now because of working with them, they're earning about $50. For us, it's something that makes us sleep well at night, and as well just give us a lot more energy to go on. Yes, we are looking at also the issue of inequality. The traditional beekeeping model could not allow a woman to be able to participate because it's labor intensive. You have to hike a beehive 5 meters up in the tree, which a normal woman cannot do that. But now with our model, women are 40% of our 544 smallholder farmers that we're working with. For us, it's bringing the level field for every woman, for every youth to be able to participate. And we've managed to preserve 125,000 trees every season. But in 2018 to now, we've managed to prove our model. And it's not only a sustainable one, it's also bankable. In 2020, we were hit with the COVID-19. We almost closed our business, but through the SEED program that we got in, we managed to put up systems to be able then to anchor as a foundation for growth. And I think this is what many SMEs are also missing, to be able to have the capacity building so that every level of growth will require a different level of knowledge. So we say thank you to the SEED Accelerator for giving us that opportunity. And today we now have grown with almost like 600%, because in 2021, we had the local market share for Zambia at 0.6%. But through the capacity building, today we are boasting of almost 8%. This is because of the knowledge that we have gotten from the capacity building. But then I think going forward, what we ask is, when we get into the capacity building, many SMEs like us are able to devote ourselves to learning and growing. And that's why we're talking about these numbers. Our impact is tangible because we've proven it. But then we are here, we have grown, but then there is no any other support that has to come through to be able to ensure that we sustain the growth. Because with this growth, we will need technical expertise to be able to come on our team so that even the impact is also scaled up, because our model has been proven. So this is why we're here to say, okay, WuchiWami has grown now, but now we need more support. We need an ecosystem that is tailored to the SMEs with the policies that should be able to then advocate for eco-inclusive businesses, because the landscape now was not tailored for an SME. The landscape now still reflects for larger corporations that are able to have the luxury to close in Zambia, but still be operational in other countries. For us, we dream, we wake up day to day trying to solve these challenges. And therefore, we are asking that we can get an ecosystem that is able to attend to us. Now, as WuchiWami, we are exporting our honey into 3 nations now. And this is because we have the capacity, we have the systems, and this is because of the SEED Accelerator. So we are here to advocate for more capacity and as well tailored financing to de-risk our business, and as well speaking on behalf of many SMEs that are on the same trajectory. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll do our best to keep on accompanying you to accelerate further, reach other markets, but I hope that other partners will join you and other SMEs to effectively have this right policy landscape that you need. Let's move to the third entrepreneur with us, Pradeep from Farmer Fresh Zone. How does your enterprise support an agri-food transformation in the Indian context, which is different from the others? And what else is needed to scale your reach to the Indian market, who's the reach one, and reach to more consumers?
Good morning and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thanks FAO-SEED for giving me the opportunity. So let me put some context. It's like across the globe, actually more than 20-25% of the fresh food is going to the wastage. And we all seeing in the last presentation saying that food prices are increasing. And by 2050, our population is about to reach around 10 billion. So how we are going to feed this population, growing population? So that's a bigger question. So, our thought process or the thing to the table is that the one solution should be, it's like promoting the local production for the local consumption. That's the FAO, Hajinke also said the same. So that's what actually we do at Farmers Fresh Zone. Farmers Fresh Zone have a tech vertical called Captain Farm. So in which what we are doing is like we are helping small farmers group, large farmers and agri businesses to do the farm to fork operation, to streamline their farm to fork operation with the help of technology, so that it will get a better visibility across the supply chain with the help of data. So what's happening is that which help to reduce the wastage, increase the traceability, okay, and also it's reduce the carbon emission because it's local production and local consumption. So multiple elements that it's not have to travel too much distance, food wastage will be reduced and nutrition will be preserved. So a lot of stuff will be connected to that. And it's also help to increase the carbon sequestration and increase farmers' income. And our business model is well connected with a lot of SDGs. And I would like to point out 4 SDGs mainly. That's SDG Goal 1, no poverty, and SDG 2, zero hunger. So why it is actually, it's like, as I mentioned, it's like the supply chain is fragmented. Okay, so we need the right set of data, and it's not need to be a conglomerate to have all the data. We should get the technology to the right set of people who is already in the ground. So that's what actually we are doing, so that wastage can be able to reduce, and this can be able to get it to the right set of people who is actually need of food. So as I mentioned, it's a local production for local consumption. As a result, the local economy also get benefited. And the SDG Goal 3, that's good health and well-being. So we all know that you are what you eat, right? You are what you eat. So that's the thing. Actually, through our this kind of traceable or end-to-end farm-to-fork technology, but we can be able to do that. Healthy food, we can ensure that it's reaching a healthy food to the end consumer. So that will help to increase the health of the consumer and well-being of the society. Not only that, SDG 12, that responsible production and consumption. So how our system works is that we can be able to set a common protocol across the globe for tomato or any kind of crop. That's different from each and every geography connected to the soil and other weather condition. So with our system, actually, we can be able to set a set of protocol for each and every minute region, and that will be getting notified to the farmer, and we can be able to monitor how many people are actually doing that or not. If that's not getting the right output, we can be able to modify that. So after a point of time, it will get the right output, 1 acreage, 10 tons. So that's the one of the benefit that's actually coming over there, and which is actually ensure the safe food. And the consumer, when he assurance of getting the safe food or right food or good food, actually what happened, he is ready to pay good premium to the producers. So that's a responsible ecosystem actually going on. And now we are mainly operating in southern part of India and connecting around 38,000 of farmers. And we are able to reduce the food mileage by 50%. And also we are able to reduce the carbon emission by around 20 million ton. And we are actually able to reduce the food wastage by 10%. In the organized sector, the food wastage is 15%. Our who is adopted to our system is less than 5%. And also we are able to increase the farmers' income by 15%. And our goal is to impact 1 billion people. That's our goal. May not be maybe by 2015 or sometime. And with this, actually, I would like to conclude with saying one word. It's nothing but, if you ate today, thank a farmer. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Reaching out to 1 billion people, what a target. At the level of India, fine. Very ambitious, but you're absolutely right to connect the food waste, the carbon emissions, and so on. It's feasible. We need just to see how to scale up. Now, let's move to, I would say, the other part of the panel. Mr. Ralph van der Beek from the Ministry of Agriculture of the Kingdom of the Netherlands. You listen to 3 entrepreneurs here. You see their expectations. You have entrepreneurs in your country. I know that. So how does your ministry and the Dutch government provide support to the agri-food transformation? And how do you see the role of agri-food transformation and SMEs while listening to also to the colleagues around?
Yes, thank you very much. My name is Ralph van der Beek. I'm the Director of International Agribusiness and Food Security at the Ministry. Before I go into your question, just wanted to raise 3 points that you started with. That is the absence of the private sector in many of the discussions, and I think you're absolutely right. They are pivotal to include. We have some Dutch companies here. They're not the smallest, Rabobank or Yara or some others, but it is absolutely essential to work all together. I'll dive into that a bit later. And another very important aspect that you mentioned, we look at the lens of sustainability. In many cases, sustainable and ecological and an economic way. And if you forget the absolute importance of societal sustainability. The social sustainability of our transformation is just as important, or I would say even more important. I am always inspired when I meet people like Pradeep, Hari, and Rasaran, because you are working on the ground. When we hear these reports always, food systems responsible for 30% of emissions, 70% of water use, over 50% of biodiversity loss, we tend to forget that our food systems and our agriculture can also be part of the solution to these crises. And that's why it's always inspiring to hear examples of people of actually, contributing on the ground and building up and showing that it is possible to address both our food needs as well as our climate challenges and our biodiversity challenges, all in the same way. So thank you for having me here and listening to you. In terms of what we are doing, let me address two things at the national level, because you are probably aware that we are facing a huge transition. We're very proud of our agriculture and food sector. We have become a major powerhouse in agriculture despite our small geographical space. But we've also seen that we have reached and in certain instances crossed the limits of what our environment, our natural environment, our social environment can bear. So we need a transition. And we have tried a whole of government or whole of society approach to bring that transformation abroad, very much invested in coming to an agricultural accord with all the partners involved, be it primary farmers, innovation entrepreneurs, be it the retailers, so the whole value chain, and trying to come up with a perspective and how we find this transformation. Now, unfortunately, these talks have been paused, and at the same time the current government has fallen, so we are in a bit of a jumble, but we will take this up because it's the only way forward. It's what we call the Dutch diamond approach, which we also do internationally. That will be my next point. We bring together government, businesses, civil society, financial institutions, because you need all of us with our own specialties to bring about this change. No actor can do that on its own. We are not, as government officials, the entrepreneurs, but we set, the circumstances and the rules. So at the international level, we focus from our ministry on three areas: sustainable business models, food security and climate, and biodiversity and water. And we do that through our quite substantial network of agriculture, nature and food quality councillors that is currently represented in 80 countries around the world, including in Thailand and India. Unfortunately, we closed our embassy in Zambia a couple of years ago, so we don't have a presence there anymore. But we are working there and supporting countries in their transition to more sustainable food systems. And this goes from, and we do that in an integrated way. For example, in Ethiopia and South Africa, on the Grootvallei, we do that combining an integrated approach on trade, investment, and international cooperation. So in South Africa, it's about a cold chain project that would and logistics, so that would allow farmers, especially in the citrus region, to have the whole chain. This reduces food loss and waste, but also quality control and exporting into the European market. But we also do that, for instance, in the Mekong Delta, in the food water biodiversity nexus, to enable the transition to a more sustainable food system at a big level, but also in helping small and medium-sized enterprises. And in bringing this about, especially on the innovation side, because there's much innovation coming from startups, from small businesses. They come up with the ideas, and so we have instruments, innovation missions. We've done them mostly now to developed countries, but we're starting so high-income countries. But we will also organize these to less developed countries, so as to also see if you can leapfrog some of these things. I was very much triggered by your award Farm to Fork, which obviously we very much support. It's a big European program, but from one of my recent visits, I'm also very much intrigued by the fork to farm, to bring it full circular. So exactly, you saw, not all food is then used, but what do you do after consumption? What do you do with the waste? You could use that in regenerative agriculture and compost it, and then, bring the full circle. So those kinds of initiatives that you're seeing, we are trying to support and then help that bring to scale. And again, thank you very much. This always brings sort of new ideas, and I have the fortune of being able to also share this with our network across the world, and see where we can find new opportunities. So thank you.
Thank you very much for the various important points that you raised, but we'll not have time to go through them. That's really essential, and you're right on the farm to fork. It's we have to think also on the other side properly. UNEP. Salman, how do, and I know that you are in charge of the economics and ecosystem biodiversity program, which is a huge one, touching also on agricultural issues. So how do UNEP programs support an agri-food transformation, and how do you see the role of agri-food innovation, as you have heard of our colleagues and SMEs in such transformation?
Thanks, Arab. No, we're very happy to intervene on that. I'm an environmental economist working in UNEP. In some respects, at this table, I feel like a fraud because I'm not dealing directly with entrepreneurs. But I think that UNEP has an important role to take on, a task to take on, because we are looking at trying to attend to the triple planetary crisis, trying to alleviate the pressures in terms of climate, in terms of biodiversity, and in terms of pollution. And what I think is important we recognize, and Hajnaga, you brought this up, the fact is that we can't achieve that mission absent farming, okay? So there's been a strong focus within UNEP on food systems and food system transformation, which is actually why UNEP was leading and chairing the UN task force for the summit, because it's such a strong element to our work, which depends on farming, and of course, in turn, depends on SMEs and farmers, because in the end, a farmers is an SME, okay, in most cases. I also want to turn to the question, almost like the working assumption, Arab. You're quite right about that. When you opened, you said, big business can just disappear. Okay, we talk about the issues in terms of footloose capital. And if big business isn't happy, they move on. So what we feel in terms of UNEP, we have a role obviously in providing impetus to and support for projects like SEED, is thinking about what we would call the rules of the game. Now, this is a term which comes from a neoliberal economist called Milton Friedman, the rules of the game, and actually originates in the idea that businesses have one rule and one rule alone, which is maximize profitabilities and returns to their shareholders. Now, that has been modified over time. And we can think now of the rules of the game of thinking about what exactly are the incentives that apply and the regulatory framework, which in turn affect each and every SME on planet Earth. Now, we know we're not going to change governance structures. We know we're not going to have a situation where the smallholder farmer is going to have a significant voice. What we can try and do, what we are trying to do in UNEP, is shift the balance in terms of the rules of the game. And how are we trying to do that? We're trying to do that by making the case in the public sector and the private sector that if, as soon as you apply the appropriate metrics, as soon as you assess what your impacts are, your dependencies are on what we call natural capital, the state of the environment, as soon as you assess all of the ecosystem services which are critical to bee production, the pollination services, the hydrological services which are critical to rice production, as soon as you do that kind of analysis, you find that the impacts and dependencies are large. Now, if you or I are thinking about how much income we make, and we think about our monthly income, we allow for the fact that there's money coming in, money coming out. We allow for the stock of savings that we have. We fail to do that regularly in terms of natural capital. We're depleting our natural capital. Now, that seems to be a kind of mission in terms of saying that, but it is actually a mission on UNEP's side, which creates impact. Why? Because if we actually carry out the evaluation as regards to what extent are we actually depleting our natural capital, that can lead to governments, if they take on our analysis, which is usually done by host institutions in country. Okay, so it's Cancun University, for instance, in Thailand. It's ICAR in India, along with others. So when you take on board that analysis, you suddenly find that it's in the best interest of the public sector to stop having a situation that Arab described, which is footloose capital disappearing. There's a pincer movement. First, you try to convince the governments or the state level actors, in the case of India, we're talking about Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, and Assam, why they should change the rules of the game. The other side of the pincer movement is business. We work a lot with businesses, say for instance, Olam, we mentioned this earlier on discussion time in terms of rice production and Mars, to say, do the analysis and you'll find it's in your interests to avoid being this agent of footloose capital. Olam and Mars aren't actually, to be honest, they're actually quite good in that regard. So take on board the fact that it is in your interest to support state SMEs, to support their activities, to understand that not just the natural capital, but also the social and human capital, we mentioned that earlier, the networks that are, which the entirety of our food systems are contingent on. If we support those, and in our case, as Arab said, if we value them in economic terms, sometimes that means putting a price, be it in rupees or baht or whatever. In other cases, it's actually just valuing them to make them part of a kind of multi-criteria analysis, cost-benefit framework. If we do that, then for businesses also, you can make the case. So what we're trying to do is shift the way the rules of the game are applied. So not to directly intervene so much, because there are brilliant organizations, some of them around this table, who are actually doing that at local level, but actually stimulating a shift such that it's in the interest of business and government to apply, in essence, what is the food systems approach. And the final thing I'll say in that regard is that we've heard a lot about nutritional health. Okay, and we also know the nutritional benefits of honey, for instance. So, and we're looking, say, organic rice production, we're looking at 100 million people, but not quite a billion, we're talking about 100 million in terms of the Ganges and Delta and Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh, as you know, and actually switching to organic. Now, what we're trying to say is this, is that if we start looking, and we do in terms of TEEB, at the health impacts, that is accelerating our case for change. It's accelerating our case to support SMEs. So for instance, without the straw burning, which is part and parcel of conventional rice production in Thailand, absent that, if you don't do that, you have massive benefits in terms of avoided PM 2.5 particulate matter. Now, if you've been in Bangkok or indeed in Delhi at a time of straw burning, you know without having to take out any scientific measure what exactly is required. So we're doing that. Well, hopefully we can help and support others in achieving those goals. Thanks, Arab.
Thank you very much. Thank you all. Unfortunately, the people are waiting for the second round there. Thank you all. I'm not going to make any conclusion. What we wanted here is to raise the voice of the SMEs, the importance, why we should care about them. We did it. We need to do it more than that. So thank you all. Thank you very much.